Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I forgot I got invited to do that NVDA party, whatever that is. I think some of the other T3 Live contributors. I don't know who's going there. Presumably not JR or Sammy. I'm an associate member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. While my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group, you should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Apologies to anyone who is on, it's T3 Live Rock. They're always doing little gimmicky things to try to get people to watch. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I mean, I could cancel the afternoon meeting and go join the NVIDIA party. I don't know who's in there and just not do our own meeting. Not that I really don't have anything to say about today. Apologies to anyone from the YouTube yesterday who usually tunes in. I had an issue where I couldn't get it going, which is unfortunate because I thought yesterday was a particularly good afternoon meeting, and there was a lot to talk about with what the market had done. My positions are the same as they were yesterday, but based on the last time I did an afternoon meeting with a disclosure, my Meta TQQQ shorts. Didn't I have another one? Oh, an MSTR. I'm out of all those shorts. I actually flipped them long yesterday, at least Meta and TQQQ, but that was just day trades. I had a lot of Palantir yesterday at a certain point as well, but it got back in small by the afternoon and added a little bit today. Palantir was actually my best name again today. And everything else should be, I think, the exact same. So, feeling nice and light right now, positioning-wise, which is exactly where I want to be. We're waiting on the video here. It should come out in 8 minutes. But, look, today went exactly as expected. Yesterday, there was a ton of action, a ton of opportunity. We expected today to be quieter and choppier, figuring we could, shoot through closer to the ADMA on the daily, give some continuation off of yesterday's tail. That did happen. If we got a little bit higher into the 600, I was going to look to short some SPYs. We didn't quite get there, and I was just trading very much not aggressively at all today. I did very little outside of managing my swing trades. I took a very tiny trade in CLSK at one point today that ended up being break even. I made a few dollars on EYE off of Dave S's call as it approached the ADMA on 5. I'm a big fan of this trade. It's a really good trade. It's one that's worth having on your playbook. When you get that big gap up on an earnings report, especially if the report looks like it's good, you get the retracement or time or price correction to the ADMA. You look for that first touch of the ADMA as a pivot low, and take that as a long when you get a signal like this little downside tail to see what you can get from it. So I just took that as a quick day trade. I was all out into this pop, and that one was pretty good. Outside of that, though, I really didn't do anything. Like I said, I was waiting for more like SPY 600 to short. I don't want to be super aggressive right in front of NVIDIA earnings. One mistake, if you want to call it that. I don't even think it's fair to call it that, but it was just me being not aggressive today. When the European tariff news got announced today, I don't remember which candle that was on specifically. The reaction lower was delayed for sure. So whenever that was, I don't remember if it was this little move here at 11:55 to 12, or if it was this little tail at 12:15. I don't remember, but I know that the actual down move was delayed. When I saw the tariff news hit, I said to myself, "Oh, here we go again." And so I threw a sell stop down somewhere. I don't even remember where. Somewhere, I know exactly where. So it must have been on this 12:15 candle that we saw the headline on European tariffs. The low of that bar was 79.87. I think I threw a sell stop down at 79.75 in TQQQ, figuring, sounds bad to me, but we also know that the market doesn't seem to care about Trump announcing tariffs because he doesn't seem to ever follow through with them. So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'll just put a sell stop below this consolidation. If the market doesn't like the news, it'll trigger me. And if the market doesn't care, then it won't. So I put that sell stop down there, and then nothing happened for 20 minutes. I canceled the order probably after 7 minutes, and then we had a delayed reaction down. So would have been nice to, and it was a decent size order too. Would have been nice to get that short at 79.75, and we went down almost $3 straight down from there. So it would have paid me a decent little penny. But I'm not that upset because, like I said, today for me was a day for less is more. From an index level, from an index perspective here, we know that after yesterday's extreme extension on the downside with that tail, that the market needed some degree of price or time correction. We got it. We got price correction almost fully back to the 80 MA on the SPYs. Not quite there for the Qs because the Qs have been much more relatively weak. The Qs are actually indicating here with their extension that they might need a little bit more time. But even though I'm still kind of big picture bearish and I'm looking for setups to reshorting a bounce or reshorting a bearish consolidation, I'm not in a rush to do a lot of new trading and new positioning right in front of this NVIDIA earnings. This NVIDIA earnings that we're about to see here in 3.5 minutes, I really think is like a do or die report for the entire market, just based on where we are right now. With the sell-off that has already started and the market dynamics here in late February being bearish and being post-OPEX, NVIDIA could come out right now and save this market and get us right back up and make it so we don't get any downside continuation. NVIDIA could cause the next leg lower, or NVIDIA could just end up moving sideways. But if that happens, if whatever the reaction is on NVIDIA turns into more of sideways action, then I would still maintain a little bit more of a bearish thought process on the index. So that's where we're at. That's really all I have to say for today because I traded so little and the market perfectly met our expectations. But I don't have anything else really to talk about. We'll see what this report looks like. I got 2.5 minutes for questions. See, Apex joined the YouTube's asking me about AMD. Should we avoid going long it? I think that we should avoid all semiconductor stocks. Look how tight AMD was today until we get more clarity from the NVIDIA report. But yes, it has been very relatively weak. But this thing could come back to life if NVIDIA's report is really good potentially, and this moves higher as a secondary trade. So we shall see. Let's take a look here on our NVIDIA chart. Let's get the after hours action ready to go. Boom. All right. Just gonna fill it on the bid and Palantir. We've got a minute and a half. So I still have a minute and a half for questions, or we can just sit here in silent suspense. I don't have any. Where's it trading? Is it smoked right now with this crypto sell-off? Crypto is brutal. Brutal. I so much want to see the crypto sell-off continue. I just really want to see what happens to MSTR if crypto can get closer to their price. I really want to see what happens. I just want to see what happens. I don't have a position right now. It's intellectual curiosity. Hurts. I really want to see if he's forced, if there's forced selling that has to start coming in at a certain price. It'd be so interesting. Intellectual curiosity is 20 seconds. Wow, snow. CRM down, snow up on earnings. Okay, 420. Little downtick. There's a downtick. NVIDIA adjusted EPS beats 89 cents versus 84 cents. Gross margin is in line. Revenue is a beat, fourth quarter revenue. Not a huge beat. Gaming revenue is a miss. Data center revenue is a beat. Oh, there we go. The guidance is what's important. So they're guiding up. They see first quarter revenue $43 billion plus or minus 2% versus expectations of 42.3. So it is a beat on the revenue guidance. It's probably the most important number. It's not a huge beat. The reaction seems a little overdone to me. Watch this tape here. I shorted very small feeler. 136 is buying. 136 broke. Covered some. Covered more. Covered more. NVIDIA sees a first quarter adjusted gross margin light. That's light versus expectations. There we go. Covered more. Moss. Oh, fill me. Too slow. I don't think that report looks good. Yeah, that margin guide is no good. Covered more. I'm almost out. I'm not 80%. Thank you. NVIDIA compute revenue fourth quarter beats. I don't like the guidance number. I know the revenue guidance is a beat, but I'm not overwhelmed. And then the gross margin guidance is not very good. But I'm at 80% of my short. I was able to short. I shorted into that 136 buyer that was there, and I got 136.09 as a price. So far, it's holding in. I think actually pretty well considering those numbers. I would almost expect it to be smoked on it. I'll just hold this a little bit. Interesting. Okay. I got real time, real traders. Let's go. I got nothing new. You know, the initial reaction here seems to be sloppy, but it's almost better than I would expect it to be. I took it pretty small too. I wanted to add on the break of the 136 buyer that was there that I initially shorted into, but it was just honestly too quick for me. Like I hit the 136, got slightly price improved, and then instantly it was gone. It was a few dollars lower, which you know, that happens if you don't have that offer box queued all the way through the bid for the second that bid breaks. It can be hard to get stock. NVIDIA says fastest product ramp in our company's history. That's a good headline. I think they had a nothing burger on NVIDIA's report if it ends up just continuing to do pretty much what it's doing, which is trading around flat, and it's only been out for 5 minutes, so it's too early to say that. But if it were to, I think it's still overall that the market maintains its bearishness. I actually would almost prefer that. Stay around these 130s tonight and then tomorrow sell. Yeah, I would prefer that actually. 132 buy-in right now on the tape. Broke. It'll continue to come in. 132 buyers back. The gamma will increase as long as we're not getting these larger moves and the option sellers feel comfortable just continue to sell. $132 buyer broke again. It's just so crazy, kind of these modern market mechanics. Putski was huge. We could easily see a vol crush because that grind up if there's not a ton of real buying selling. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, the modern market mechanics are so wild where it's like you have these little windows for these sell-offs to come in, and it needs to go, and it needs to go fast, and if it does, it can feed on itself very quickly. But then if it doesn't, and it slows down, then, you know, very quickly it becomes impossible to move again. Yeah, wow. NVDA a little lower again, but nothing too much going on. $5 o'clock. All right, Dennis. Scott in the YouTube wants to know if I trade mostly off the 5-minute. I trade mostly off of, it's a combination. I look at the daily chart in conjunction with the 5 and 15. So I would not say that I mostly trade off of any one time frame, because everything I try to do is based off the daily chart, but then I try to execute off the 5 and 15. 5-minute chart being most important between 9:30 and like 9:30 and like 10:15, 10:30, and then the 15-minute chart has increasing importance as you get to 10:30. Teamwork makes the dream work. What you got for me here, TT? The oh, this is interesting. Interesting tweet. The MicroStrategy liquidation. MSTR falls over 55%. As it falls over 55%, many are asking about forced liquidation. The company now holds $44 billion worth of Bitcoin. Could they be forced to sell it? Is liquidation even impossible? Let us explain. It's a thread. Oh, a lot of juice in this. Probably have to read this after we're done with the meeting. This is cool. I really want to read through this. Even though I don't know who BC is. Their average cost is $66,350. What happens if Bitcoin falls significantly below their average entry price? They've survived previous bear markets, including one from 70,000 to 15,000. MicroStrategy's strategy is largely contingent on the ability to raise additional capital. In a situation where their liabilities rise significantly higher than their assets, this ability could deteriorate. However, this doesn't necessarily mean forced liquidation. That makes plenty of sense. Why do they need the ability to raise capital? Because it's their entire business model. That I'm aware of, so I'm not going to read through that. But yeah, borrow money, or I will read through it. Borrow money through 0% convertibles, buy Bitcoin, drive the price higher, sell new shares at a premium, and buy more Bitcoin, repeat. They hold $8.2 billion of total debt for $43.4 billion of Bitcoin. They have a leverage ratio of 19%. Most of this debt is held in convertible notes. I mean, even not finishing reading this yet. Even if they aren't forced to liquidate at a certain point, like the destruction that they're going to put on this stock, if all those convertible notes convert, on top of the fact that they've already been diluting the stock over. I saw that one statistic that. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what it was. Like, I can't remember what it was based off of, but basically the stock was up 600%, but it should have been up 1,000%, but it gave up 400% of return just because of increasing the float, basically, of diluting the stock. Cost shareholders of the stock 400% already into that up move. Some wild statistic like that, and this could get so much worse. This is just such a terrible stock to own, in my opinion. Let's get into the credit agreements on the debt. I'll take a look at the rest of this later. Thank you for that send there, TT. Thanks, I'm only seeing it now. Over in the YouTube from Kart Racer, my poor mom bought $500 of Tesla and Bitcoin in December. Too bad I wasn't there to say no. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. I don't really have anything else to say about it. From Robert, when you see bigger size on the ask side of the level 2 in NVIDIA now, do you consider them as a buyer? Bigger size on the ask would be a seller, right? By definition. If there's an offer out there, if there's size on the ask, that's someone selling. So I would not consider them as a buyer, if I'm reading the question correctly. Yeah, Riot is in a worse situation. Riot's a piece of garbage also. Haven't really done any research. I know that they have Bitcoin holdings. I don't know at what price or whatever. I think that all their Bitcoin holdings are from mining and not from purchasing in the open market. I'm uncertain on that. That's what I think. But, they lose. That company loses a ton of money. So at a certain point, they might just need to raise capital And they, you know, they could try to raise capital in a number of ways, but one of those ways would be by liquidating some of their Bitcoin. The MSTR being convertible notes is interesting. I got to read more about that just because, you know, I don't know. It's not like they're not making payments, obviously. I don't know who the hell would buy a convertible note in an MSTR. That's so crazy to me. But somebody is. Riot has 18,000 Bitcoin per Michael. Thank you. No problem, Robert. Yeah, why buy MSTR when you could just buy Bitcoin is the commentary on YouTube, and I agree. I mean, I guess the idea is that you're buying, you know, it's almost like buying a levered ETF in Bitcoin. In some ways, there's just way too much risk there. Someone trapped by a prospectus. Yeah. Yeah, and I know that Riot just bleeds money. Oh, interesting on this STRK. STRK is the symbol of the last convertible price at $80. It's been trading above 90 since it came 2 weeks ago. That's interesting. Yeah, go figure. Who would have thought that we'd be spending most of the NVDA earnings report meeting talking about MSTR? But it kind of just shows you that this NVIDIA is a little bit boring. It did give a nice opportunity to short when we saw those numbers hit on that 136 area. I still have 20% left of a small short position. Going around after hours charts on Mag 7 names, I'm seeing selling that just stopped and everything. I'm not really sure if I understand what you just said correctly. What's the rest of the market doing right now? Qs are down a little bit. Apple's not doing anything. Amazon's not doing anything. It sold a little bit, bounced back. Google's not doing anything. I'm not really seeing much action in these other names. Meta went down, but snapping right back up. So it all seems like much ado about nothing here. Yeah. I still think that there's a huge upside risk for Bitcoin and MSTR on the government starting to buy. I know I saw that several states tried to push through legislation about buying Bitcoin reserves. It failed in Wyoming, Montana, and I think South Dakota. But I think that they also have a vote for Texas. So Texas could potentially become a Bitcoin buyer, and the U.S. government, the federal government, could become a Bitcoin buyer. I still think it's possible if they do the sovereign wealth fund, and they decide to buy some of it up in that. I think it's very possible, and it's my biggest thought process on a risk on being short MSTR, especially if that were to I'm short MSTR and that happens overnight. If the federal government buys, Texas buying would help too, but especially if the federal government buys, the MSTR could be up so far so fast. I'm not buying it though. I'm not buying Bitcoin at any price. I'd rather purchase a producing asset. Bill. I don't really know what that is. What if they buy in the sovereign wealth fund and it goes down? I don't think it's possible. I think if the U.S. buys, obviously they're buying and they're going to be buying a lot. But then I think what happens, you get a knock-on effect of all the other countries, a lot of the other countries around the world start following the U.S.'s lead and buy. Yeah, all from criminal seizures, and they've just been holding it. I say sell it and put it towards the debt. You might be able to sell that 200K Bitcoin that the U.S. government has and keep a few jobs. I'm not sure what matters on the call. How hyped he is. Probably what matters is what coat he's wearing. From Ryan, Jim Bianco had an interesting point about the well fund. Thinking the government actually won't buy any, but will put confiscated Bitcoin inside because nobody wants to or is able to claim that Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean, I think the government should sell it, but that's definitely not going to happen. I'm not sure. I didn't think they had sold any. Maybe I'm wrong. T-Dot getting smoked? Did they have earnings? It looks like it. NVIDIA is not the only big one here. eBay, Snow, Salesforce. Didn't even look at these Salesforce numbers. Let's take a quick look. Salesforce trading down. Missing on their 2026 revenue guidance. Yeah, that seems to be it. Snow. Man, that Snow daily chart looks so good into this report, too. Snow trading up. Beating on revenue. Beating on fourth quarter EPS. Guidance on Snow. Within the range. Maybe a little on the light side of the range for first quarter. 2026 rev guide is actually like basically in line, a very, very, very small miss. It's actually not as good of a report as I would have thought on that Snow, given the up move. It's a good report though. We got eBay out. No one really cares about eBay anymore, do they? I'm always baffled that they're even a company. Or a company that, trades at the value it trades at. I mean, they still, I don't know. Someone uses eBay. If they're expecting $2.5 billion of revenue in the first quarter, somebody uses eBay. Where's NVIDIA real quick? Still doing nothing. Daily charts. Teladoc getting smoked back down. Fully retrace that up move. Not good for ARC. I like Salesforce as a company. I'm not thrilled by that earnings report though. There's a really big support level at 290, 289, which it already held at the low of the down move. I'm probably going to be patient on this one for now, but it held the 200-day, which coincides with some support from back in October. So it's a level that you could watch. That's right. Starboard is on. Is involved with CRM. I remember that. MTT. What is Elon? What if Elon starts running the SHA 256 protocol? I don't know what that is. Oh, if they all start mining, get the U.S. government to start mining. I don't know. Outside of my salary range, that question. Yeah, I remember, back during that COVID era when we were looking at every single day our purchases and sales. We don't look at that anymore. I would still look at that information out of curiosity on what she's doing, but I'm not going to go out of my way to find it. Someone used to post it in the VTF every day. There's nothing going on with this NVIDIA. There's nothing really to talk about. It's trading right back to where we closed again on the day. I still have a very, very small short on. I probably would stop myself out at my entry price area around 136. Or otherwise, I'll just probably keep it for now. I'm not sure I really want to keep it tonight. Maybe I will. It's so small, it doesn't matter. He said that he and his team are tech support for crypto mining at the U.S. government level. Whatever. Arc is in deer. That's a weird one. Your long small dividends sold 136. Calls. I like that. I like that as a trade into the report. Yeah. Where do you find the overnight borrow rate? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Like that from the Fed. Some you could, I'm sure you could Google it. Yeah. Arc owning deer, that's a weird one. Yeah, I like the trade, David. It's probably not a bad situation for you if it sticks around here at 131. Yeah, we got the GDP report. I think that the PCE on Friday is even more important than that, but they should both be market moving. Apex Joy wants my opinion on APP. I purposely chose not to touch this thing today. It's an expensive stock. It's tough to trade. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I know that the company came out and refuted the allegations, but I think that they got hit on 2 different companies with like sell reports on them today. But I didn't really research it too much. Josh traded a little bit. I never got involved. I had a chill day today. I had like my chillest day in a while. My volume was like a quarter of what it was yesterday. It was nice. I want a StubHub meme I made after I was... Sure. I hate StubHub. VKTX sounded a little bit of an up move. Oh my god. It's a good one. Someone is driving up this VKTX on the bid after hours, and I am happy to sell into them. You guys are too funny. Unless there's news on this. There's no news on this VKTX, is there? I don't know if anyone can check for me. Wow, they really just drove that up. That buyer drove that up all the way. Got filled on the bid there at 29 quarter, 29 spot 24 on the bid. Thank you, buyer. Come back. Do it again. IonQ announces an at the market offering. They do it now? Why didn't they do it when it was at 50? Okay. Looks like we got through everything. This NVDA report is not turning into much. We'll see if the conference call, which starts at 5 o'clock, moves the stock. But otherwise, tremendously boring. And then we'll see the market impact tomorrow. Let's have a great night, everybody. See you all then. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. Thumbs up. Tell your friends.